Hey everybody and welcome to Chairman of the Board. Today I'm going to share my thoughts on Twilight Imperium 4, which is this huge epic space opera game for 3 to 6 players. It's a game about area control and basically trying to fulfill these different objectives to score victory points. The first to 7 or 10 victory points will be the winner. Now I have to say I'm generally not a big fan of sci-fi games, but the way that Twilight Imperium embeds the theme and scope of this huge, space opera and the mechanics is absolutely wonderful. The way you can upgrade your ships, the unique powers of each race is really, really well done. The upgrades to your technology, just the idea that your influence over these different planets affect your kind of galactic influence, and you can pass these different laws and you have these votes. Very, very cool mechanics. I also love that struggle for Mechatol Rex in the middle. Basically, that's a huge kind of like master planet where all the bigwigs go. And controlling that area in like a King of the Hill style of manner will get you an extra victory point each turn. Very, very clever idea. Creates a good amount of tension, and that struggle is really, really engaging. That being said, the game is it has its issues for me. Don't get me wrong, this is a game I really, really respect. Mechanically, thematically, absolutely wonderful. People regard this as their favorite. A lot of people regard this as their greatest game of all time. And you know what? It's hard for me to argue because it does what it does so fantastically well. But for my personal taste, I have a couple of issues with it. And I'll try to explain them, but again, it's a personal thing. Number one, the game length. It's a very, very long game. It's going to take 6, 7 or 8 hours depending on the amount of players you have. I played this with I think 4 and 5 players, and I think the longest went for about 8 hours and the other one for about 6 hours. And to be honest, I thought that it did outstay its welcome. Don't get me wrong, it does do its best to try and engage players. It uses some very, very clever mechanisms such as the action selection, which generally tries to address downtime by basically if players choose a certain action, players kind of get a lesser variation of that action, and basically just to keep the uptime going. But it just still doesn't do enough for me. The downtime sometimes it's like half an hour between turns, and for me that's just not on. And for me to stay engaged, I'm going to have to be completely in love with that game, completely invested in the theme and care about what everyone else is doing. But basically, there can be things going on the other side of the planet that I really don't have an interest in at all, such as combats between players, and literally I'm just not invested in their decisions. So I don't care what they're doing, and therefore I'm not engaged with the game. I hope that kind of makes sense. Another thing for me, for a game that takes, 6, 7, 8 hours, the combat in this it's dice driven, and for me it's just a bit too swingy for me. Don't get me wrong, again, it's a personal thing. I generally don't like dice combat in games, so I find it a bit too random for a game that's going to take that long. I want something to be a bit more deterministic and not be to the mercy of the dice to that extent. Obviously, there's like modifiers and stuff like that, and probabilities are going to be in the favour, but I find it personally unsatisfying. Again, a personal thing. But again, these are things that I personally have issues with. This is a game that I completely respect the design of. Again, the mechanism is very well done. I absolutely adore the laws that come in. You basically, I think 2 or 3 laws come in a turn, and you vote. Using the influence of the planets you're controlling, and some of the things that you can do are really interesting, so well implemented. I remember one example where we voted to basically set off this bomb, and it blew up a whole kind of section of the board, and it killed like most of my friend's army, and everyone just had a huge laugh out loud moment. Very, very fun, and I love that idea, and I think more games should do it. One of my favourite games, Lancaster, does that as well, and I love that idea, the idea of spending influence to basically modify the game rules. Absolutely great idea. The game also uses negotiation, which is something that I really like, and it does do it well. So basically you can kind of use each other's trade goods and give each other benefits, or even just like let players kind of come past you and promise each other things and stuff like that. So the level of interaction is generally really good. But something again about that combat, the combat just is not, it's just not satisfying for me. When I'm building something up and someone just comes in and just absolutely trounces me and I have no interest in fighting them, I just want to kind of do my own thing and fulfill the objectives that aren't aggressive. I just don't like that at all. So that is more me, because I do kind of lean towards the Euro side of games where conflict isn't such a big issue. Again, personal taste. So yeah, overall, the game it's so well designed. It's so well designed, just absolutely epic in scope. The thematics are absolutely wonderful. Really nice components, nice looking bits, nice chunky hexagonal tiles. You've got the variation of the board set up each time. Again, the unique powers do make you feel unique. Great kind of theme in the flavor text. Loads and loads of replayability, because you've got all the different powers, different routes and strategies you can go down. But again, those real kind of anchors to the game for me, the ones that I can't get past, is number one, the downtime, number two, the game length, number three, the dice combat. So yeah, while this is a game that I can absolutely recommend to players who do enjoy this kind of game, honestly, it's brilliant if you're into that space opera, you like dice combat. If you do like those things, you have to check out this game. It's absolutely fantastic if you are that kind of gamer. For me, it's not something that I'll be looking to play again. It's just not worth the time investment for me. I could play something else, 30 to 40 minutes, well, sometimes 40 minutes downtime between my turn is absolutely mad. Could be a personal thing. Maybe the players I play with have bad AP, but still, just too much. Also, the setup and pull down time of this is quite significant. But again, if you're going to dedicate a whole day to it, then not so much of an issue. Everything looks great. Ships look great. The board looks great. Nice quality components, as I said. Just again, back to that combat. So overall, it's something that I would definitely recommend if you do like these kind of America kind of thrash kind of games, but with some very well implemented kind of Euro style strategic mechanics. Yeah, overall, it's a funny one. It's a bit of a push-pull for me, because I like so much about it. I respect so much about it, but just those few factors are just kind of outweigh the urge to want to play again and again. So yeah, I hope that gives you an impression of my opinion of Twilight Imperium 4. Again, a great accomplishment, one that is just going to continue to do well as more and more editions of this come out, because it does what it does better than anybody else. Theme, honestly, I can't fault it. The epic scope of it, absolutely amazing. You're going to have a big story arc. You're going to have great stories to tell each other for years to come as a result of playing this game. But my tastes, not quite a fit for me. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this short review of Twilight Imperium 4. If you have, please hit like and subscribe to my channel, and check out my other videos too. For everyone else, I'll see you next time on Chairman of the Board. Bye.